Hey folks, I was chatting with a customer earlier today about a use case of how easy it is to take a look at inside a JWT token, add that information to the downstream request and maybe make some decisions based on what we see inside that JWT token. So I want to make a quick example of just how easy it is to do that in Zuplo. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use JWT.io here, which is a public website by the folks at auth0, to create a JWT token with some information in it. So the information I'm going to add to this JWT token is going to be fruit is banana for this particular JWT token. You can imagine that being any kind of claim you like. We're going to sign this with a simple secret that's going to be foobar because we're software developers. And now I've got my JWT token ready. I'm going to go over to Zuplo. We're going to create a new project called JWT demo. And this lets you create a live gateway, in about 5 to 10 seconds typically. And we're going to use an echo endpoint as the back end. So an echo endpoint is very simply a website, we created one, that echoes the request back to you. So here you can see I just hit it. It was a get. There was no query string. These were the headers from my browser, etc. So we're going to use that as the backend. So we'll be able to see what we're sending to the backend as a debugging trick. So my gateway is ready. I'm going to come in here. We're going to add a route. We're just going to call this route test/test, and I'm going to make the backend a URL rewrite to echo.zuplo.io. So let's just save that quickly. That'll deploy in a few seconds. And then I'm going to hit test. And you can see I'm getting an echo back showing me what I'm sending to the back end. So I send it accepting coding, etc. Now we want to secure this API with a JWT token. So we have a lot of JWT policies built in for auth0, Okta. Here I'm going to use our generic one that allows you to work with any kind of JWT token. And I'm just going to make it very simple here and say this accepts JWTs signed with a secret, which is foobar. Now, obviously putting this in a string like this isn't very secure. I should put it in an environment variable. I should probably use a more secure approach to JWTs like JWKS, but this is just a simple demo. You get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and then that will deploy again in just a few seconds. And if I test this now, I get a 401 unauthorized because I don't have a JWT token. So let's go and get our JWT token. There it is, and hit test. And now I get a 200 OK. So the JWT authentication is working. It's that easy. And what we're going to do now is take a look inside that JWT and extract the fruit and send it to the back end. So if we send that to the back end, what I expect to happen is I will see a header that bounces back from the echo service that says fruit banana. So we're going to do that by writing a custom policy. Crazy easy. Write a new inbound policy called JWT. For now, we'll just keep it nice and simple. And what's going to happen here is we can take a look at the JWT data by looking at the user object on the request. So I'm going to log it out actually. So let's say context.log.info request.user. And we're going to log that user. We're going to see everything about it and the JSON that gets logged there. And I already know what I want to do. So I'm going to take my headers. So I'm going to say request.headers.set. And I'm going to set, let's say, set fruit, comma, and then the value is going to be request.user.data.fruit. So I'm going to get that from my incoming JWT token and add it to the outgoing request. So let's save that, and then let's go and apply that custom policy. So I'll take custom code here, and I call this the JWT. I don't need any options for this, so I'm just going to delete those. Click OK. Let's give that a nice name so we can see it in our pipeline here, what it's doing. I'm going to click save, and then if I've coded this correctly, you see the fruit now got echoed back. So that means I sent on some properties to the backend server. Now let's imagine that we want to block certain types of fruit. Well, let's just imagine that's a thing that we want to do. So we're going to go back in here and we're going to accept some options on this policy now. That's going to be block string, block fruit, we'll say. And in here, what I'm going to do is say if request.user.data.fruit equals options.blockfruit, then we're going to return a response. And I want to return a really nice canonical response here. So I'm going to return HTTP problems dot forbidden request context, and then we can pass in some detail. The dollar options dot block fruit is a... I did not realize I was going to make a forbidden fruit joke in this demo, but here you go. Is the forbidden fruit. So I'm going to save that. And so now what I'm going to do is come in here, customize this, add some options, and say block fruit. In this case, I'm going to say is banana. So if a user has a banana in the block fruit, sorry, in the fruit property in the JWT token, they're going to get a 403 forbidden. Let's see if that works. 403 forbidden, the banana is a forbidden fruit. And what's cool is this is a very simple demo, but this information here could actually be dynamically loaded up into the service with a stale while revalidate approach. So this could be a long list that comes from a database or an API. Very easy to make that work. And just to show you this in the full cycle, let's say that actually the forbidden fruit is an apple, which is probably more canonically true. And if I test now, my banana is fine, and that's getting forwarded onto the back end. So very powerful, very easy. Lots of stuff you could do with JWT tokens, and this is just the beginning, really.